Right, so today we're looking at part 4 of 34-year-old Mike and his 24-year-old Colombian girlfriend, Ximena. Mike has spent the last week and a half in Colombia meeting Ximena and her family for the first time after a year of the pair speaking online. However, things have not quite gone to plan. First, Ximena told Mike that despite knowing that it was his dream to have kids with her, she had been withholding the fact that she had had an operation to prevent her from having any more kids. After forgiving her, Mike took her on a trip to a nearby town for some alone time, but things got off to an unromantic start after he farted whilst on top of her. That led to Ximena sitting him down and telling him that she's tired of him constantly burping and farting in front of her, leaving dirty clothes all over her house, and just generally lacking basic manners and personal hygiene. Despite all of the bumps in the road, however, Mike then went out with Ximena's father, Jamir, to get his blessing to ask for his daughter's hand in marriage, which after an unconvincing conversation, Jamir hesitantly gave him. Mike is now due to leave Colombia tomorrow, so tonight, he's taking Ximena and her family out to a fancy restaurant where he hopes to finally pop the question. Ximena, however, can't seem to shake the feelings of doubt she has over the relationship.
Jimé, usted no se ha puesto a pensar que si usted termina con él, que bueno, que ya no va a tener con qué pagar un apartamento, que le toca ponerse a trabajar.
Y Mike pues se mira que él quiere los niños y él dice que él va a responder con ellos, van a tener un futuro muy bien con él. Entonces usted debe pensar en eso.
Sí,
Pensar en sus hijos, no solamente en usted.
I wonder how much family pressure and her wanting the best for her kids have been the driving force for this entire relationship. I mean, there's not really much wrong with that. A partner's ability to be a provider is often a big factor when people are looking for long-term relationships. I just think the main issue for Ximena is that there's not much else Mike has going for him at the moment.
Lo que están diciendo mis papás es verdad. Tal vez Mike nos pueda dar una mejor vida a mis hijos y a mí. Mi plan siempre fue casarme con Mike, pero después de conocerlo en persona, tengo muchas dudas. Entonces, si él me propone matrimonio, la verdad no sé qué decirle.
I think at the start, his ability to provide for them was probably what made her give him a chance, and I think even after a year there wasn't much else that she liked about him. But after actually meeting him in person and realising how gross he is, I think she's just realising that it isn't enough to make up for his many shortcomings. Still, she gives him a chance to prove her wrong, so they all go out for a romantic dinner as planned. After they all settle down, Mike stands up to read a speech that he had prepared for Ximena, and as a result, it seems all her doubts just melt away.
Eres mi otra mitad, tú me completas. Amo a tus hijos como si fueran míos. Me mantienes ordenado. And I love you, te amo.
Well, hey, finally a te amo that isn't wildly inappropriate or unnervingly creepy. I like the little nod of acknowledgement to his untidiness too. After the way things went in the last video, I feel like addressing something that's on her mind in a positive way was actually a rare moment of emotional intelligence from Mike. In fact, she seemed to receive everything up until this point very well, and that finally gave him the confidence to go through with the proposal.
Will you marry me? Quiero casarte conmigo?
Sí, sí quiero casarme contigo.
I love the facepalm from Ximena as soon as he asked the question. She very clearly still has the doubts about Mike and the relationship in the back of her mind, but with her family around, the romantic setting and the emotional speech before the proposal, I think she definitely just got caught up in the moment.
No sabría si teníamos un futuro juntos. Pero cuando vi la torta, después las palabras, que fueron súper bonitas, amorosas, el corazón yo sentí que se me iba a salir. Y me acordé del por qué fue que me enamoré de Mai. Es dulce, es tierno, es muy amoroso y que ganó el cariño de mi familia y de mis hijos. Entonces, ¿por qué le voy a decir que no?
So despite all of Mike's flaws, Ximena agreed to marry him, and as his time in Colombia came to an end, he he flew back home the following day, having achieved what he set out to do. Over the 2 months that followed, he began organising the wedding and speaking to lawyers to sort out the visa for Ximena and her 2 kids. However, as time went on, Ximena grew increasingly cold and distant with Mike, and he began to wonder if she had started to have second thoughts about marrying him. So now, with the wedding set to be just 1 month away, he's planned a last-minute trip to Colombia to go and figure out what's going on. Before he even arrived, however, Mike began to get the feeling that his suspicions were correct, because unlike the first time, she didn't come to meet him at the airport, and things got even worse for him as soon as he walked through the door.
Uf, huele como a popó. Mira tus zapatos a ver. ¿Sí? Por debajo, sí, huele a popó. Sí, mira. ¡Ah!
I'm sorry. I'll make sure to buy you a new rug. Not off to the best start. Ximena's very meticulous, and I literally just tracked in dog poop on the carpet.
Again, I sympathise with her exasperation because it's literally like she's got a 3rd kid around. And for him, it's such a terrible way to start things off. When he suspects that she's already starting to be put off the whole relationship due to his dirty habits, literally the last thing he needed to do was walk dog shit through her house as soon as he turned up. And although arguably he could have just got very unlucky, when Ximena's sister asked if he had had enough to eat during his long journey, it seemed like he was trying to put Ximena off him as much as possible.
I'm trying not to eat anything that'll give me too much gas.
Estoy tratando de no comer nada. Eso me dará demasiado gas.
It's like he's trying to give her the ick. Literally their biggest argument so far is how his burping and farting is making her fall out of love with him. So why does he think it's a good thing to reference with pretty much the first thing he says? Also, as if it wasn't awkward enough as it is with his behaviour, apparently Ximena had actually told him not to come this time. When he landed back in the US, she began asking him to pay for her to get liposuction and a boob job so that she could pursue her dream of becoming a model. And when he told her that he wasn't willing to pay for it just yet, she apparently turned to him and said, "Don't bother coming to visit me until it's paid for."
Tú no ibas a venir, yo te había dicho a ti que no fueras a venir este mes.
But I told you I was coming.
Tú me dijiste ya cuando estaba a punto de venir. Y tú te había dicho que no vinieras hasta que yo no me operara. Se aferró que él quería venir y que quería venir.
It's obviously quite manipulative for her to essentially say you can't come see me until you buy me what I want, but it's even weirder of Mike to just turn up despite her making it clear that he's not welcome. The fact that he's paying her rent and is soon to be married to her doesn't entitle him to just show up to her house whenever he wants, especially when he's explicitly uninvited. And now that he is here, she isn't holding back in making it clear that that's still very much the case. That night, Ximena wanted to go out clubbing, and Mike said that because he had to work remotely the following day, he could only come out with her for a few hours. Just before midnight, Mike came back by himself, and Ximena didn't come home until around 9 AM the following morning.
Why did you stay out so late? What did you do?
Yo me quedé porque quería quedarme todo el rato tomando más.
Did you spend time with any men or anyone?
Hoy había muchos hombres, pero entonces no conmigo. Mike dijo que quería irse y yo lo mandé a casa en un taxi para que llegara seguro. No sé por qué me está interrogando ahora.
This whole thing is getting toxic pretty quickly. Mike should very clearly have never come in the first place, but given the woman that he's supposedly marrying stayed up clubbing all night without him, especially on the first night of his visit, he's understandably hurt by it. Rather than getting the hint though, he starts to smother her even more. Despite Ximena wanting to go dress shopping with her mother and sister, Mike insisted that because he's the one paying for it, he should be the one to take her. In return, after trying a few on, Ximena made it clear that she didn't want to go through with the purchase until she got what she wanted.
Aún no tengo boobies. Me quiero operar. Es el día después de que tú te vayas para Nueva York. Te necesito el dinero para esta semana. ¿Pagar mis boobies?
Tal vez.
No, sí. Primero mi cirugía. Después vestido de novia. ¿Está bien?
So essentially, after the whole "you can't come see me until you pay for what I want" failed, she's now going for "you can't marry me until you pay for what I want." I feel like there are a lot of transactional relationships on this show where the wealthier partner pays for stuff and the more attractive partner gives them love and affection in return. But it's usually an unspoken agreement. It's rare that you have such an explicit one. The cold shoulder treatment goes sub-zero later on that evening too, because as they get ready to go to bed, Ximena out of absolutely nowhere tells Mike that the kids are going to be staying in bed with her and that he's going to be sleeping alone in the kids' room.
That makes me feel like we're getting even more distant. I'm just confused. Are we going to be intimate at all on this trip or no?
No quiero.
Why?
Tú tienes algo, o no sé si soy yo, creo no, si eres tú. Tú eres raro.
You are weird.
Oh, you can see that one hurt him. It's a tough one because I'd be incredibly frosty with anyone who turned up at my house uninvited. But at the same time, they are in a relationship and they are due to get married in just over a month. I feel like they need to just sit down and have a proper conversation about how they're feeling. Given she's clearly lost interest in him, she needs to just cool it off because this is so unhealthy for both of them. She goes on to say that she hates how he's always on top of her, how he says "te amo" or "I love you" every 2 minutes. And she says that she's still incredibly annoyed at him for not paying for her surgery, which she considers the most important thing for her right now. Plus, on top of all of that, she's finding even more problems with his behavior.
Antier creo que fue, o sea, yo me levanté y tú viéndome como cosas raras, o sea, tú no duermes por estarme espiando, por estarme viendo, o sea, ¿qué es eso? O sea, no me gusta que me estén mirando, por eso quiero que duermas aparte.
I'm not spying on you. I just like to look at you because you're beautiful. When you sleep, when you're up, you're beautiful all the time.
Pues de esa manera me estás perdiendo, la verdad que sí.
It's funny how much of a knock-on effect her losing feelings for him is having, isn't it? Like, if he was a 10 out of 10 who she was in love with, she wouldn't have been that bothered by waking up to him watching her sleep. She might have even enjoyed the clear sign of infatuation, but once you've got the ick, I swear everything the other person does starts to annoy you. To be fair to Ximena, waking up to Mike's beady eyes staring you down would definitely be unnerving, and I don't really blame her for being creeped out by it because I'd need a jump scare warning for that, but she is absolutely crushing him here.
I just want to let you know that I will change, and I'm sorry.
Solo quiero que sepas que cambiaré.
Ojalá.
Hopefully.
Mientras tanto que pasa todo esto, quiero un espacio, quiero tiempo, todavía no me quiero casar.
While all this happens, I want a space. I want time. I still don't want to get married.
It's actually crazy how much has changed since he's been away. When he left Colombia halfway through this video, they were as close as they had ever been. His proposal speech left her calling him sweet, loving and kind. She was talking about how much he had won over her family. It was like all her doubts had been washed away. But now, barely 9 weeks later, she's saying she doesn't want to marry him anymore, and he doesn't even know if she still loves him.
I'm just confused because I love you very much. I want to spend my life with you. But I really need to know, do you love me?
No, no te amo.
At this point, you've got to ask, what is even the point in staying? I mean, I don't know what he was expecting in the first place, rocking up after she explicitly told him not to. But now she's not picking him up from the airport, staying out late clubbing, saying don't bother getting me a wedding dress until you've paid for my surgery, withholding intimacy, and saying that she's no longer in love with him. Where does he think it's going to go from here? It's such a toxic relationship and it's clear it's not working. But it doesn't seem like either of them are actually going to end it. Unfortunately for them, and fortunately for those of us who love drama, it gets even more volatile from here. So if you want to see this saga go to the next level, please feel free to subscribe down below so you can catch the next video as soon as I upload it. Thank you for watching and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.